Oh, yeah.
Sometimes
We've
you
experienced
don't
that.
get the respect. Huh?
Yeah.
Speak your truth.
Respect you the same. Yeah.
But in ourselves we experience that. But you know what? That doesn't get me down because you've been called worse elsewhere.
And I've said that. Do you know what I tell
You see, I get what you're saying in that. Okay, you're like, well, hey, you look at me. I am your brother.
Of course.
Why call me that?
Yeah.
However, elsewhere you've been treated far
Worse.
Of course.
And I've said that too.
Yes.
I brought that up. You know, because I've said I've been called worse. So
Yeah.
if you call me, what do they call you? Bruni.
Abironi, Mzungu.
I
Because
said-
you don't expect that. Like, we're
See?
so happy to be home,
Ah.
and we embrace them, and we want to
Yes.
learn and teach,
Yes.
and you know what I mean?
But just
Like,
because we're
and be
It's-
embraced and
it's
accepted, and they're like,
very
no,
hard
But
for them
be
to
honest in reality. Just
very
because
hard.
you're quick to embrace others doesn't mean they're quick to embrace you.
Exactly.
People
Amen.
have to be, and you may have heard elders say this as well. People have to be comfortable with you. It
Yes.
doesn't matter where you are, whether you're here, whether you've gone to Kenya, you went to Madagascar, you went to Zanzibar. People still need to be comfortable with you. And just because we share a likeness in this beautiful melanin that we possess,
Yes.
doesn't mean that is going to be an automatic.
No.
That's
It's
a truth.
true.
Yes.
No.
But that doesn't negate the fact that, like, for me, I'm sensitive.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
not big- my
We are.
feelings get hurt.
Yeah, they do.
That's
She.
Me too.
I had an incident the other day over soursop, and I lost it. With
Oh yeah. No, really. She lost it. She lost it.
I lost it, and then I was like, this morning I was still mad. I'm like, if she had that 20-year-old Sherrie, I would have mashed up her fruit stand. I was mad. I would have
Hey,
mashed
my
up the
sister.
fruit stand, but I'm like, I'm too old for that. You know?
Yes, yes.
But she was so disrespectful, and I never dealt with that kind of
Yeah.
disrespect. I've only been here since March. But I've been on the continent since September. I never dealt with that kind of disrespect. She was outright rude and disrespectful.
Yes.
She was selling the soursop for
Dave,
an
Dave,
insane
yo.
amount of money. And the dragon fruit was telling my friend and I that she's gone now, but that we couldn't afford it. That's why we think it's expensive.
Yes.
You see
And
that?
I said, you need to extend the
Wow.
same grace to us
I can buy
that
you
you do to the white
and
man.
the table.
But we weren't making it that way. It was
Yeah.
just a point.
She
Why
was
make
so-
insulting comments?
She was so, and my friend was just standing there, and she was in the car, and the driver was like, come. I was like,
I've experienced it so many
Yeah.
times. I'm numb. You know what I say? Whatever you're saying, I love you too.
Yeah, I don't take it
see, I
personally
need to
because
get
I've
to
been
that
treated
point.
far
Yes,
worse.
please.
I need to, but I get
Go
vexed.
fast.
I was vexed with
Go
her.
fast.
Normally, I just go on, but for
No.
some reason that day, my feelings got hurt.
And they
everything.
were, I could tell. But what we have to remind ourselves of, even at the times that you've held jobs, even in my current position, we find ourselves consistently disrespected.
Period.
But see, I'm a fool. See, I'm going to speak my mind. And if that includes you go ahead and giving me the axe and making me redundant, it is what it is. So you can't hold me there. I'm a lion. Okay? I'm resilient. But we have to think about that just in terms of a whole, that we don't get ourselves lost in that because
Yes.
it's easy to do. You know what I'm saying? It's really
It
easy
is.
to do.
And in
It
spite
is.
of all those issues,
Yes, of course.
there are so many good things
Yes.
happening, and that can
Yes.
happen.
It's
Of course.
mostly good things
Yes.
happening.
Yes.
So I mean, and I think that's the thing that, like, for me,
You
because
hold
I'm
up.
always like, Ghana is sweet though.
That's what I tell my friends.
So you have a rare, see how nice? When you have a rare incident of people
are
being
the
rude, it
truthful
shocks you.
No. I agree.
you.
Agree.
Yeah, good for you.
But we've had things far worse than that shot.
Of course.
Oh
of
yeah,
course.
Back
but
in
I'm
the
just
West.
saying. But in the
Yeah.
West, we're always prepared.
But
for it.
yes,
Here,
yes.
this is two sisters and the
Yes.
cocktails, by the way. But in the West,
You have any more of the
we're
cocktail?
always prepared for. But here, we're so
add
happy
some
and our
rum to
guard
mine.
is down.
Yes.
And we don't expect.
No, I
it.
agree.
In New York, I'm always ready to.
We
rumble.
know.
No.
I'm always
we're
ready. to
ready.
rumble.
It's funny because
Wide
both of
open.
you all have lived extensively in New York. But what I'll say is this, and she and I have talked about this, Drew,
Yeah.
many a times.
Yes.
Because most continental Africans do not understand the struggle in which we come from in the West,
Oh yes.
a lot of things that are perpetuated in regards to us, they don't understand. I mean, I've talked to educated continental Africans, ones that we say have master's degrees, people who are MDs, etc. They don't understand what we go through. even some of the, I'm really social media adverse, but even when my sister here talks to me and she tells me about different things that she reads on these particular groups as well as social media friendships, I'm just like, because a lot of them don't know, and so they make comments that are egregious,
Yes.
and not being patriots for their own land. That's for me. That's huge. For me, that is huge.
And guess what? You want to tell me nobody in government can say we need to do a better job educating our folks on the history of black.
But do you
Well,
think it's up to the
funny,
government,
but-
or do you think it's up to us as individuals,
We can't do
as
it.
parents, as
I
grandparents?
think it's
We-
it's
it's
both.
parents
I think
first.
it's both. I think it's yes.
Who's going to educate the parents?
True.
The government has to do it. And then it starts from primary school or
Yes.
elementary, as we
Yes.
call it. Right?
Yes.
It starts there.
Yes.
Where you have we're black folks. From look at them folks from Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. They're
Been
all-
there. Been there.
Who
Darker
caused
than
you
us.
to be dark? The sun?
I mean, we are children of the sun. I'm just saying.
Moving around.
Exactly.
And doing their thing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Million
No.
years ago,
I-
500 years ago.
I understand
Right?
exactly
So-
what you're saying.
I think it has to start with government.
Yes.
It has to be a policy
Yes.
where it is taught.
Yes.
Did you know you had families who left here forcefully? They were forced out of their homeland, right? And some of us did it to them, and they were shipped too, right? And these things happen to them, right? So wherever, and I asked somebody locally, I said, where do you think Chinese people are from? People who look like Chinese, Asian. Where do you think they're from? Africa? No. I said, where am I from? Oh, you're from somewhere else. I said, oh Lord. I said, think. I said, every black person you see on TV or in a book or here in Africa, right? Whether they were born here or not, they're ancestors. If they were not born, they're ancestors. I said, their great came from here.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay? And I said, the issue is nobody taught you that.
Exactly.
And see, that's why I can't know.
Going to Kumasi
Oh, yeah.
University.
Yeah.
Some young ladies. They were shot, and they were like processing in tree. They're talking in tree. I say, yes, think about it.
Even us last night, we had a fairly long conversation with a young man who is formally educated, and he didn't even
Right.
know who Thomas Sankara was.
He didn't know who
Patrice
Tom.
Lumumba.
Oh, and that blew my mind. When he didn't know who Patrice Lumumba was, I mean, I get Thomas Sankara, but Patrice Lumumba,
You can't
the
help
rider of this freaking continent.
it. You can't help
He listened to us though.
But
said
he was
thanked us for
open.
the
He was
conversation.
You
open.
can't help it.
No, but he thanked us for the conversation.
But after that conversation, it's over.
We don't know, because sometimes,
See him again. See him again.
sometimes,
Now hold on. Elaborate on why you say that.
Because I've been there.
Okay.
I've been. Most of my friends, they're elected tech. We call it tech. If anybody tell you tech, that's Kwame Nkrumah.
That's right. That's right.
Right? They're lectured there. They're
Yes.
professors. Right? They teach us another unit down here called Cape Poly. Right? I think Kumasi Chemical College. Serious guys. Like your friend. Serious. And we would have a discussion today, this week. And next week we're having something similar. And they seem foreign to everything.
this is a young man. I told
They don't grasp. It's hard for them to grasp.
it
Like
was
you have
hard
said,
to- yeah.
it's very difficult. When it was, how many things did you find out in high school, in college,
Yes.
But he,
in elementary school?
I agree.
It's a process. So
Of
you
course.
start here,
Yes. And work your way
Here.
up. You're building.
here, and then when you grow up, you said, like for me, church. I went to church. They taught me Jesus coming back soon. Do this,
And
do
he
that.
ain't
Don't
been
report.
back yet.
That nigga ain't coming back. Nobody.
No, the
coming
nigga
back.
ain't never coming back.
Nobody.
That nigga ain't never coming
Nobody.
back.
Nobody.
That
Listen.
nigga.
Nobody is
why are
coming.
you telling me? You're preaching to
No,
the choir.
listen,
It's for the
listen,
church. It's for the church.
Nobody is coming for us.
I just told him that. I'm toasting to you with
No,
the glass.
no.
Oh, right.
You need another one?
I'm gonna wait for you.
So, listen, so I have evolved because now my brain is independent of my mother. I love my mother.
Yes.
Right? So now I'm thinking, and I'm reading more, and I'm processing.
Yes.
And I have a lot of, I have millions of common sense.
Yes, you
And
do.
I'm like, wow, so they've been tricking us. And then I tell people, our religion is what they call juju.
Yes.
Witchcraft. Negroes' religion is New Orleans, Haiti,
Yes.
all these islands, Brazil.
Say it.
Huh?
Family.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Where did it come from? Where did it come from? Right? So all this
Mother vocabulary.
Jesus and these denominational religions, where they from? The white man. It was a tool to keep the black man and woman.
Control.
And it's still good.
You know what's
It's a
funny,
nice
Drew?
feeling. It's a nice
No,
feeling.
no, no. But you know what's interesting? Is that even saying that, Drew, I don't care whether a person is Christian or Muslim, Hindu or Buddhist or whatever. When you talk to them about this being created for control, most of the times they're not going to believe you. I think it is the auspices of being afraid that there's nothing else to hold on to. Instead of the God in you.
Right.
Instead of the God in you.
Yes.
The God in me.
Right.
Oh.